Hi guys, I'm Karishma Karar and welcome to the Hour Markers. I have to admit, I am quite excited and even feeling a sense of pride to welcome my guest today. She's not just the woman behind one of the most awaited horological watch events, Dubai Watch Week, but is also a strong voice and a key opinion leader in an industry that is perceived to be dominated by men. I have with me today the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at MB&F Seddiqi and Sons, Hind Seddiqi. Hi, Hind, and welcome to the Hour Markers. Thank you for being with us today.
Hello, Karishma. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you for having me.
I have to say, on a personal level, I'm not an extreme feminist, but it's always a pleasure to connect with a woman who is in such a strong leadership position and who actually uses her voice for a cause. So it's a moment of pride.
Thank you very much. I'm not a feminist myself as well. I'm all about gender equality, but it makes us really happy when we see other women, doing great in the industry they're working at.
Perfect. So I'm going to get right to it. MB&F Seddiqi and Sons, a name that is reckoned with not just in the Middle East, but on a global level. I mean, your family started the business with West End watches, and today to having the world's largest Rolex boutique has come a really, really long way. My question to you, and the reason I'm asking you this is because I'm also from a family business, which is almost 70 years old. What are the challenges, the strengths, and the challenges that you face working in a successful family business in the luxury industry?
Look, I think every business has its challenges. Family businesses have a different kind of challenge because there's a thin line between mixing business and personal life. And if someone is not diplomatic enough, problems can arise between family members, and then it becomes very personal. But problems are there even in normal businesses, but in family businesses it becomes more sensitive because it's family. Mm-hmm. But thank God we have been raised to separate between what the work environment and the personal family environment. So we're always conscious about this. We always wear the hat that we're supposed to wear, in the office, and then when we're outside and we're as a family, we function as a family, and we don't talk about work at all. So I'd say the challenges are very similar to any business. It's just one has to be more diplomatic and political in that sense in a family business. Now, the lucky thing is that we're based in Dubai. Mm-hmm. And, being in Dubai and the geographic location of the country itself is an advantage, which allowed our business to grow with the country's growth, because our country is also very progressive. So our leaders are always encouraging us to go to the next level. They're always encouraging us to expand. They're offering us a lot of infrastructure to do so. And that's one lucky thing about the business, to be honest, being in the city of Dubai.
That's amazing. But have you seen a changing pattern in the consumer's behavior over the last 2 years in terms of the watch preferences and buying preferences? And also in terms of, I feel like a lot of people are buying watches and looking at it as an investment today, which is something I also personally don't agree with. But I just want to understand from your end, do you see a change in the pattern?
Look, we've seen a big change in the buying pattern from the collectors in the region for the past few years, and that is not only during the past 2 years, but during the past 2 years, and with the lockdown, and with people not being able to travel, we've actually seen people's appetite has changed. Their willingness to buy certain brands has become more open, so they are looking more into independent watches more than into big brands. So it gave room for the independent watch brands to grow, because people were sitting at home and they had time to tune into Instagram. There was a lot of talks going about watch collecting. The actual watchmakers and the CEOs of the brands were casually popping up online, so people had the time to sit and learn about what's happening in the industry. So they immersed into this industry, and they learned about other brands they were probably not aware of. Mm-hmm. So we saw a changing pattern in that sense, that there was more interest that came with regard to independent watch brands. And then the fact that people, couldn't travel, they really wanted to purchase things even when they're sitting at home. And that's when we started our home deliveries. Actually, we never had that before 2 years ago. So we had to cater to the requirements and to the need of our customers, and we started doing home service. Even though people were at home, they couldn't travel and all of that, they still wanted to invest in the things that they love. And, collectors are passionate about watches, would always be happy to be wearing a wristwatch, even if they're sitting at home. Mm-hmm. When you say people buy watches for investment, the true collectors don't really do that. They would buy because something is completing their collection. They have a vision of how they want their collection to look like. Many of them, okay, it's nice to know the value of what they own, but they really purchase because they have a collection in mind that they want to reach. So they don't really think a lot about the investments. Now, who is thinking about the investments? The people, the newcomers, I would say. Those who are not sure, they're hearing about the watch industry and they're hearing that, this industry is booming and people are buying watches, and then if they resell them and, the auctions and the prices in the auctions and all of that, those are the newcomers, to be very honest with you. And they're the ones who we hesitate to sell certain pieces to, because we don't know if they're really buying it because they love it, or they're buying it because tomorrow they want to flip it and make money out of it. So these are two different characteristics and two different type of people and two different purchasing habits. So, and then you have, the collectors who know that today maybe this watch does not have a value, but they have a vision and they've seen how the industry functions, and they know that with time, the value is going to come. So this is what we're seeing in our region.
Talking about collections, you have a fabulous collection, one that I have to say I'm personally very envious of. Starting from your flick flags to the Tag Heuer, the day date, and of course the 175th anniversary Patek, which is a beautiful, beautiful timepiece. What advice would you give someone who wants to start building a watch collection?
See, I'm still building my collection. So I don't have a very big collection like many of the collectors we know, but I'm starting. I think if you want to get into this, into watch collecting, you can't be an impulse buyer. You have to really know what you want to buy, why you're buying it, what are the brands that you have. And then to buy and to only keep the watch in the safe is something I don't advise anyone to do. So I always say, buy what you would actually wear. Why would you buy something and just not wear it? So it's very important that you buy something that you like, something that matches your character, something that matches your lifestyle as well. That's very important. And all my friends who come and ask for advice, that's what I tell them. Some of them say, no, but what's trending? I say, what do you want with what's trending? You know what I mean? Like, go and do a bit of research, find out what's coming out. Let us show you what's available. What's trending is there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's available as well. So that's also another thing. And then a lot of people, we have this copycat culture where people like to wear what X person is wearing. If that suits you and that's what you want to do, okay, fine, but then don't buy something that you would not wear and you would regret buying. And this is, as a retailer, this is the last thing we want to propose a watch to a person that doesn't suit their lifestyle, that doesn't suit, the size of their wrist, and then they would regret it and they would say, oh my God, I went to Hind Seddiqi and they sold me a watch that I absolutely hate. That's bad for any retailer's business. So we always ask people a lot of questions about what they have in their collection. When it's women, we ask them, how do you wear your watch? Where do you wear your watches? Do you only wear them when you go to weddings, or do you wear them when you travel? It's a lot of questions that we ask, and to understand the lifestyle of the person, and then we advise them to buy. I am one who buys maybe every 3 to 5 years, to be honest, because it takes a lot for a lot of watches to impress me, or like for me to want to buy them. I love watches, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to buy every single one that comes out. And then we also have the rule of client first. So there are things that we have to wait longer for because we have to give the clients the priority to own. So it's not very privileged to be, a retailer, because at the end of the day, we serve the customers and we have to wait for our turn. And usually our turn is way after, our clients receive their pieces.
See, now that would be contrary to belief. We believe that, if a particular day date or Daytona or a particular Nautilus is being launched, you're going to have first access to it.
I don't own a Nautilus till today, by the way. No, it doesn't work like that. You see, we're also a big family. And in family business, who do you prioritize? Like why would I take it and not my brother and not my cousin and not my other cousin? So we really have a very rigid system of how we distribute the watches amongst the family members. I mean, it doesn't make it angers the family, I must admit. But if we don't do that, Karishma, we're never going to be able to deliver a watch to one single client because we ourselves are a big family.
Absolutely.
So we have to put these rules and regulations in place. I mean, Mr. Terry Stern said it himself, even his son doesn't have the new 5711. You know what I mean? And it is true. I mean, people find it hard to believe, but I really, for example, I really don't own a Nautilus yet. I don't have the new Oyster Perpetual Rolexes yet. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and it's the truth.
Yes, but you have some beautiful Pateks in your collection.
Yes. I was given the chance to own as well, because even with that, it's a risk, and I think it's an advantage for me because I don't ask for too much. So when I asked, I was like, yay, I got what I wanted. So I think I have to pick and choose what I want. It's difficult.
What I find really interesting, I'm sorry, I've scrutinized your collection completely, whatever I could. What I found really interesting is that, just like myself again, you do enjoy wearing watches that are categorically built for men. Mm-hmm. Now, coming to that topic, I read up in an interview where you quoted that there is a need for gender balance and not female domination. I don't know about you, but over the last 1 year, I've seen a sudden outburst of feminism in the watch industry. Yeah. I wanted your thoughts on that.
Look, I mean, some brands need a wake-up call, and they need to understand that women will buy their watches and women will wear their watches. And a lot of women are tired of watches being categorized as men's watches. In the past, I'd say 5 to 6 years, you would have, if you opened the website of any of the watch brands, you would see that it was categorized as men's watches and women's watches. Today, they've removed that because in general, women, who have the wrist to wear men's watches, they would go for it. And some of them would be offended, why is it called a men's watch? I don't want it, and things like that. Especially in our culture in the Middle East, they really pay attention to such things. The feminist movement has been, it's everywhere. It's not only in the watch industry, but yes, in the watch industry, it's become bigger because I think women in the industry, particularly journalists like yourself, are probably, some of them are probably frustrated at not seeing enough women in the industry. It is a male-dominated industry, from CEOs down to watchmakers. It is a very masculine industry, but we're seeing a lot of women joining the industry and making actual change in the industry as well. So like I told you, I am not a feminist. I'm all about gender equality. But if there is a need and there's a voice and women are looking for something that they cannot find in the industry, there's no harm in creating channels where the women's voice can come out. Just like how we have channels where collectors' voices come out from, why not a channel where women's opinions and voices come out and, the industry takes it and absorbs it? So why not?
I also believe that categorizing, even when brands categorize watches as men and women's watches, I don't think, I could be wrong, that I don't think women are influenced by that categorization. If you do like a watch, at the end of the day, you will buy it. I mean, you have a beautiful Beauvais Jumping Hour in your collection, which is technically a men's watch.
Yes. I mean, half of my collection is considered men's watches, but it never bothered me. For me, if it looks good on my wrist, I'm going to buy it. Yeah. But let me tell you, a few years ago, 10 years ago, it was very difficult for us to sell a Daytona to women because they saw it categorized under a men's watch and they wouldn't go for it, But then slowly, there were a few daring women, modern women wearing it, wearing a sporty watch like that. And then it attracted their attention. They're like, oh, okay, wow, it actually works. So now it's blurred. Now nobody asks, if a Daytona is a male's watch or a female's watch. Women would tend to buy more the yellow gold, rose gold, and leave the steel out of their collection. But some cultures, I think they're still very sensitive to this. Mm-hmm. That's why brands need to be careful about categorizing. And then there are women who really don't like men's watches. They want something with diamonds. And then you have to think, what if a man wears this watch, which is categorized under a woman's categorization? They might pull it off. There are very stylish men who can pull off, wearing a diamond watch that's categorized under or labeled as a woman's watch. So I think it's really about taste. It's not about categorizing it. And then, like you said, there are some watches that actually need to be categorized as women's watches, like the full diamond watches that we usually wear at weddings. Like these are like small, tiny, full pavé diamond watches. These are really feminine. So what's the harm in categorizing it as a feminine watch? It is made for women who love diamonds and wear it at certain occasions. So I think it's okay to categorize, but not to overgeneralize and create a collection that's specifically for men. I mean, there's now the talk that's all over social media with the Chrono, the Japanese watch brand, Chrono Tokyo, and the fact that men cannot own this watch. It's a women's watch. It offended the men. You know what I mean?
For a change.
So the men are angry today because why are you telling me I can't buy this watch, or I can't wear this watch? So women, now the tables are turned and now the men are offended. So I don't know. I don't like to play this card, to be honest. It's an industry where we want people to appreciate the craftsmanship, the design elements and all of that, and leave the gender out of it completely.
I agree completely. Okay, coming to one of the most awaited horological events, which in my opinion is very, very beautifully executed. I had the opportunity to visit the Dubai Watch Week in 2019, which ironically was also my last international travel, so very special memories. And I vividly remember, now that we're talking about watches and complications for women, I vividly remember your wrist, and you had the flying T on your wrist. And
oh my God, I love that watch.
It kind of got me into the zone of understanding that, yes, women are understanding complications. They like complications, and fine watchmaking seems to be an interest that they are looking into besides just diamond-studded watches. So that was certainly an eye-opener, and I had to mention that to you. I was talking.
I mean, look, it was amazing that Max chose to release that specific watch in the female version before the male version, to show the industry that we can create beautiful mechanical watches for women. And it's a stunning watch, and it's a conversation starter anywhere you go. And it's one that you think, okay, oh my God, I want all the colors that he's going to release. So that was a really smart move from Max. There are a lot of women today, and especially in the UAE, who have, changed their buying patterns when it comes to watches. They're also patient. They're not impulse buyers. They're waiting for the right watch. They're looking for something very unique. Especially the women who used to wear MB&F watches, who their husbands and their brothers owned, or their fathers owned. They were very happy to see that the brand created something for women.
Absolutely.
And I think there's still hunger for that. There's still women who want mechanical watches, that are categorized as women's watches, maybe because of the styles more than anything.
I agree. The flying T is one of my grail timepieces, most definitely, and I keep telling myself. Coming to Dubai Watch Week, the 5th edition, a lot of interesting aspects to Dubai Watch Week. I would say it's not just about viewing the watches, it's not about new launches, it's not just about the horological forums, which are very, very interesting, but it's a holistic experience about watches. And I think that's the message, in my opinion, is what Dubai Watch Week put out there. Are there any additions, and what's going to be different about the 2021 edition?
Okay, we have few new things happening. Of course, the format remains the same. We will still have our Horology Forum. We'll still have the Creative Hub, where brands can choose to discuss whatever they want inside the Creative Hub, because the Horology Forum is strictly managed by us in terms of the topics, in terms of choosing the speakers and all of that. So it's a very curated program. So anything outside that created program can happen inside the Creative Hub, which is the venue that we've kept, for the brands to choose to talk about whatever they want freely. We still have the master classes happening, where we mix between crafts and watchmaking. So in order for us to attract the general public, we have to offer them something that's not very intimidating. A lot of people still find watchmaking intimidating. So we move away from watchmaking in some of the classes, and we offer crafts, where people can come and do miniature painting, for example, engraving, and all of the different crafts that, the watchmaking industry uses. We even had a very famous brush making class, which we're bringing back again, because, when you clean your watches, you need to use a specific brush. So we had a class where Alico, the brand that makes all of these cleaning materials, came and hosted it, and we're doing it again because there was a big interest in that. And then we have obviously the big exhibition hall, and the brands outside, the brands who are represented outside. Like last year we had Rolex. Rolex is coming back again, which is a big honor for us. We have more brands showcasing outside the exhibition tent. And we have a new thing where Ahmed Seddiqi & Sons is creating a watch collector's corner. So after every event, we take feedback from everyone. And one of the feedback that we got from the watch collectors is they wanted a place where they can all sit together and dive deep into discussing the watches, either that have been launched or, the winning watches from GPHG, anything that they wanted to dive deep into outside the Horology Forum and outside the Creative Hub in a more casual setting. And that's where we created this year the Ahmed Seddiqi & Sons Collector's Corner. And over there, we're going to have more in-depth talks about watchmaking and collecting. So that's one new addition.
Collector's Corner open to everyone?
Yes, it will be open to everyone. It's a more casual lounge. Everything in Dubai Watch Week is open for everyone. The reason why we ask people to register is specifically in order for us to secure their space in the closed areas like Creative Hub and Horology Forum, and the master classes, because the seats are limited. Otherwise, everything is open for everyone, and it's all free of charge.
One of my last few questions with you is independent watchmaking. Dubai Watch Week initially started with a focus on independent watchmakers.
Yes.
What are your views and thoughts on independent watchmaking? Over the last maybe 5-6 years, we have seen a lot of small brands grow, and it's quite a struggle for them in comparison to contemporary strong brands to put the message out there, although social media is a tool that most of them are using. What are your thoughts on independent watch brands, and which in your opinion is one of the most underrated watch brand today?
Okay. See, when we started the Dubai Watch Week in 2015, our first focus was on the independent watch brands. And the theme of Dubai Watch Week that time was the Rebels of Time. So we purposely chose the independent watchmakers because we felt that they were not represented, in a strong manner in the big exhibitions that take place. And we've always had, a special place for independent watchmakers under, the Ahmed Seddiqi & Sons portfolio. And the same thing is being adapted into the Dubai Watch Week exhibitions, where we make sure we create stands that are affordable for these independent watchmakers to come and showcase. Now, another thing that is a burden on these small brands is that they do not have the means or the money in order for them to participate in each and every exhibition that's happening. So we make it really minimal cost, and we actually sponsor a few of them. So every year Dubai Watch Week would actually invite some of them who really can't afford to come and offer them a free space. to exhibit. So it's very important for us to keep that channel open, because our mission is to introduce, whatever new happening in the watch industry to the public and to the watch collectors. And these small brands usually do not have the budget to do that. So we always make sure we cater to them. We always make sure we give them master classes, have them talk in the creative hub, even secure interviews with journalists who fly in who haven't met them before. So it's very important that these small watch brands get highlighted, because they're really underrated and their quality is usually amazing and their innovation is really amazing. So why not give them the room to showcase that? And plus there are so many that are out there, and they're quite known. If you say their names to people, they're quite known, but still collectors are not running to purchase these pieces yet, which is where our role as educators come in place, where we always have to host dinners. I mean, it's been difficult now with COVID, but we always host small dinners where we fly in these watchmakers to meet with our collectors here in Dubai and have a discussion and really take them in depth, or the other way around, which is how Dubai Watch Week started. We used to fly collectors to Geneva to visit the manufacturers, to see how things are made, for understand and see the quality of things. And that's how the idea of Dubai Watch Week started. So we couldn't fly the entire Dubai to Geneva, so we brought a piece of Geneva back to Dubai, and that's how Dubai Watch Week started. There are so many underrated brands. I mean, Global Force is underrated. I mean, everyone who's collecting needs to own Global Force. Debutune is a beautiful brand, and it's underrated. Beauvais is a beautiful brand and it's underrated. Moser, yes, Moser has a big following, but it's still, not seen as the way it's supposed to be seen. So there are a lot, and then there are a lot of new, upcoming ones. We're seeing a lot of nice brands coming out from Russia. Like Chapek, we have Akrivia, Rajab from Geneva. Akrivia is amazing and underrated. I mean, he's so busy now, he can't take any more orders, but that's for people who actually saw something in his brand. Mm-hmm. And this is our role, and this is how Dubai Watch Week and Ahmed Seddiqi and Sons work together in highlighting these brands.
Any one watch that you aspire to own, Hind?
Look, I have a long laundry list of things I aspire to own, to be honest with you. But I've always wanted a minute repeater. I haven't decided which brand yet I want to go for. I mean, you have the Patek that everyone knows, but there are also other minute repeaters out there. So once I am ready to purchase a minute repeater, I'm going to do my search and see what's available. But I definitely would love to own a minute repeater. it's one of my favorite movements.
And from the collections this year, has anything caught your attention from the launches this year?
Now the thing is, I know what's coming, so I cannot disclose everything. But from what has come, there are quite a few. I was actually very impressed by Louis Erard's collaboration with Alain Service. Okay. Yeah, it's a very difficult name to pronounce, but I love the concept of the watch. It's fun, it's affordable, and what's amazing about it is that it actually came with its own NFTs, which is something new that I think we're going to start seeing more and more in the watch industry. I love the Tudor Black Bay, the silver one. It's a very difficult material to work with, and such a beautiful watch when you have it on the wrist. I still don't own one. I'm on the waiting list, believe it or not, for that. Look, we cannot deny that the Nautilus, the 5711 with steel and baguette is something we never expected them to do. Like when they said, "Oh, it's a steel watch," and people were predicting, we're like, no, they're not going to do a steel with baguette. And then we were surprised. It's a beautiful watch. Difficult for anyone to own, but it's also a beautiful watch that came out. A lot of releases, really. And now you're going to see really amazing ones during Dubai Watch Week. We're also working with the brands to celebrate the UAE's 50th anniversary. So we are launching, we already started launching some watches, and some others are going to be launched during Dubai Watch Week as well, a collaboration between us and some of our brands, even brands that are not in our portfolio, we've collaborated with as well. So there are really pretty ones coming out there as well.
Fantastic. So lots to look forward to at the Dubai Watch Week.
A lot. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hind. It's a pleasure chatting.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you at the end of November.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you, Karishma. And I hope that the travel restrictions, will ease up for everyone, because we're looking forward to this reunion really during Dubai Watch Week.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.